This is my absolute number one tip that I want to share with all of the preschool teachers out there from my 20 some plus years as an occupational therapist. I just did a workshop to a large group of preschool teachers, and some of the subjects that they had questions on that they wanted answered by the time we were done were things having to do with tool use, what kind of things they should be able to navigate, pencils, crayons, scissors, how to teach them how to do it, by when should they be able to do it. Another thing, which is right along that line, was specific towards pencil grip, crayon grip, the everlasting question of should we use fat pencils or skinny pencils, fat crayons or skinny crayons. Another concern, I guess, was hand strength. You know, they were seeing a lot of children come in with weak motor skills, weak fine motor skills. Some of the teachers that had been there for a while were really noticing that kids were having a really hard time navigating activities that they've had in the classroom for years. Clothespins, pegs, they didn't want to use their hands. They didn't want their hands dirty. They could see it in a lot of functional activities such as snack time, such as writing center, such as when they had to build and put several objects together. Another topic that was kind of weighing on them was, are they going to be ready for kindergarten, right? Are we doing enough in this preschool setting so that they have all the skills they need? And by all, they meant like all. When I talk to this age group teachers, I feel like they have the weight of their entire school career on their shoulders, and they're always trying to navigate, you know, do we do more academics? Do we do more academics younger? This is bonus content. My response as a developmental expert is early childhood is boots on the ground. Nobody else is going to be worried about their motor skills, their visual motor skills, their gross motor skills. Nobody else is going to be more worried about that than this preschool early childhood time. So I do not want you worried about the academics and the reading, because if they don't get all of this foundational stuff that happens in the preschool class, they will be struggling in other areas. So boots on the ground are the early childhood preschool team. And I want you to know that so that you can actually be confident in the activities you present to your kids throughout the school day. Having conversations with parents were sometimes difficult if they weren't feeling confident enough in their skills, or if perhaps the parents were questioning, well, why aren't they working more on this? Should they be doing more of that? The last topic that we're going to jump into right now was a lot of times they were seeing that the children weren't able to do things in the classroom because at home they weren't expected to do it. That's a balancing act for sure, but I know that kids are very smart and very early on, and even if they haven't had those experiences at home and they start having them in the classroom, once they pass that initial 45 days of being in the preschool classroom, they should feel very confident and should be able to start doing things in the preschool classroom, even if they're not expected to do them at home. So I don't want that to be a kind of like a fallback. If we're seeing kids, even after being in the classroom for 30, 45, 60 days, that are still not able to follow along some of the basic preschool classroom activities, we want to take note of that. So here it is, my number one tip that can answer all of those questions: the pencil grip, the tool use, the hand strength, the kindergarten, the parents. Here it is, guys. I want you to be super confident and know your development. Know your fine motor skills, know your gross motor skills, know your visual perceptual skills. All of that magic happens in your beautiful preschool class. And without that magic, these kids will be struggling when they get to the really academic, rigorous environments that they are set up for nowadays. So I don't want y'all worried about so much about the academics, as I want you to know, eat, breathe, and sleep development. I have something to share with you at the end, but I'm going to share a quick story. This is actually about my own child. He went to a very rigorous kindergarten, okay? Super rigorous. People in the community are like, that school crazy. And vice versa, he went to a very play-based preschool, like play-based, dirty, paint, not a worksheet in sight. You know, it was right up my alley as the occupational therapist. So one day the teacher pulls me aside during dismissal, which if you've heard me talk about parent-teacher conferences, I do not like having parent-teacher conferences at dismissal. So I was like, what's happening here? And she pulled me aside and she asked me, oh, where did your son go to preschool? And I said, oh, here it is. She's going to tell me that he's not ready, that school, all they do is play. And when I told her the school, she said, you know what? This is the third child I have come from that school, and they are so prepared because I can tell they really worked on development. I'm going to say it again. This was a super rigorous school, specifically a super rigorous kindergarten class. Like, these little babies had spelling tests. They had to sit for the SAT, like all sorts of crazy town. And my child had, of course, the son of the OT, they had some delays, but she could recognize that he was very well prepared because he was at this very well play-based preschool. So I share that with you because I want you teachers in the preschool world to be super confident and hear this message, because I feel like the rest of the world is telling you to teach the 3-year-olds how to read and teach the 3-year-olds how to, write sentences. I'm here to tell you the exact opposite. Know your motor skills, no gross motor, no fine motor, no visual motor. And that's going to be your guide on how to navigate these preschool years. And it's also going to help you stand strong in your values. So I have a developmental playbook that's going to be linked here in this video. And I'm making it 100% free for you. It breaks down the different activities. It has videos for you. And I want it to be a resource for you to have in your classroom, in your bag of tricks, so that you can show up in your classroom the way you need to be and set these little people up for a wonderful life. All right, if you want any more resources, feel free to like my YouTube channel. That's really where I'm putting out most of my content these days. I have resources there from preschool all the way to young adults. Thank you so much.